Hey everyone, you're just gonna get voiceover Joan for this. I just quickly wanted to hop on and explain what you are seeing. So, on Thursday, January 29th, around 10 o'clock, I was issued a privacy complaint. The way that YouTube does it is you do not know who issues the privacy complaint, which I believe that is fair. However, I am one amongst many at this point who has received a complaint. And I think it is important that we start observing patterns that people are conducting. And this clip that you're going to see is from me being on Dust Productions or Dust Paranormal's live stream when he did an open mic, which I highly suggest you check out. I will put the link to that live stream in the show notes. I was on there saying that we need to start noting these patterns that are happening. Therefore, we do not fall for the same things again and again. And we create stronger and more identifiable boundaries for people so we can prevent debacles like this in the future. This is not my normal content. This is not going to be my normal content. I really would like to just talk about stories and how they fit into the paranormal and, well, funny enough, how patterns of stories fit into the paranormal and how we can look at these things and try to decide if it's really something paranormal or a narrative we've created. So that being said, I hope you enjoy this and I will see you on the other side.
Everybody, please welcome Joan of Ladies Fright. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Thank you. Also, and co, because I have my emotional support husband behind me. So, what's up? Nothing. What's up with you? I just want to know how you're doing.
Right.
As usual.
I reacted to that entire freaking live stream. That was rough.
It was long. Last night, my jaw was clenched through most of it, so I can only imagine how you felt.
I mean, I had already talked to Dan from Haunted Souls before that interview even happened. So a lot of the stuff that was said on Side Eye Guy's live stream, I already knew.
Okay.
But it's just, I mean, there were some things that he wasn't able to tell me, but like just hearing Dan talk and, you know, just seeing his daughter, all this stuff like, ooh, Frankie's going to ruin his daughter's career, a 22-year-old woman's career.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to be a bitch.
Yeah. So I guess like before I give my thoughts, just like really quickly, what do you think is the biggest takeaway from Seg's interview with Haunted Souls? And like, what should we use to like looking for like Thursday? Like, what should we pay attention to and maybe press a little harder about to like get some more information on it?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Haunted Souls, Dan told me some stuff. He hasn't told me everything. And, you know, there's like, he was sick. I was sick. I don't really know, like whatever he says, whatever he shares, that's what he's going to share. I think that we should be paying attention to anything that Haunted Souls says about Dan's character and all of the lies. Look at
Frankie, you mean? Not Dan's character, right? Frankie?
Not Dan,
okay.
Dan's character.
No, I want to be clear. That's fine.
All Frankie's character. And well, you should be paying attention to Dan's character too, because he's like, he really seems like he's being honest. I feel like Frankie, if Dan is saying all this stuff, Frankie did this, he accused me of this, he's saying this, he filed all these police reports. That's something that's really important, is that Frankie said he filed all these police reports on Dan and nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Well, what are we hearing? Oh, he's going to take legal action, right? Frankie's going to take legal action against all of us, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a bunch of bullshit. You know, it's just him huffing and puffing, trying to scare us. And if Dan has not received anything from Frankie, because Frankie was like accusing Dan of stealing and this and that and all sorts of stuff, and that had a lot to do with a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Frankie was a part of the company and then he was kicked out of the company. Like usually when something like that happens, you might see a lawsuit. There were no contracts at all, but you would think that there might have been some type of lawsuit. Maybe Frankie didn't have the money for a lawsuit, which would suggest that he wouldn't have a lawsuit to come after me or you or Side Eye Guy what's Frankie going to do when he has to fight a court case with somebody from Australia?
Well, and I think that's pretty telling of why, like, the one copyright strike happened, and then we haven't seen copyright strikes. It's all been privacy claims, which are not legal. So I think that's like let's try the harshest thing. Oh no, it's a legal thing. I'm not gonna hire a lawyer to do this. So I guess you could probably represent yourself, but I don't know how that would work. But that's also why I think it's been a lot of privacy claims. I think it's been a lot of privacy claims with people who don't live in this country.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to fight somebody in another country, like internationally, like an international court case. And if SEG is filing, that means he's spending the money to handle this, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how this works. A lot of civil cases, if you win, one of the stipulations is paying for the lawyer fees of or like you have your lawyer fees paid. I don't know if that's how this works. Brief mention, I'm not a lawyer. Just putting it out there. Don't take any legal advice from me. If I say anything that sounds like legal advice, no, it's not. Don't listen to me. But yeah, I do think that is major. I think listening to this live stream now for the second and a half time, because I was going over and I wanted to make some notes about how I felt about it.
Right.
Because I'm a processor. I process. So the first thing I wrote, I have a notebook, like a whole ass notebook right now. But the first thing was, frankly, not his name, but anyway. Frankie is a deeply empty person who attempts to make himself feel relevant to anyone by fabricating authority and seeking opportunities to be needed in others' interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, like that is definitely Frankie in a nutshell.
I also not a therapist or a psychologist or have a psychiatry degree, just saying. But I think what you're saying is important to notice Frankie's behavior. I think it's very important that we notice and call out patterns that we are seeing in behavior, especially just for like the community at large. I have it here. Even Dan said at one point, I've seen him do this to other people.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is that this is a pattern of behavior. And anyone working with Frankie right now, I want you to take a step back and see how he has treated former friends and realize that you are not special. He will treat you this way if the opportunity arises.
Yeah. And, you know, that's something that Dan probably thought of when he saw how Frankie was treating people. It had to have been in the back of his mind, like, yo, eventually he could probably do this to me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how can you not think? I mean, I guess there has to be people who don't feel that way because they do get into business with him, literal business with him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had mentioned in the chat, or maybe I didn't mention in the chat, but I think Frankie specifically weaponizes going into business as a form of control.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he can't have friendships or people can't have relationships without him wanting to bring them into the business, because then he can take some form of managerial role over them and their relationship with him. This is why he inserts himself into businesses with families involved, so he can be the one. I'm saying this with a lot of gusto, and I don't know Frankie, but this is like the pattern I am seeing and like what I would be cautious of and realize. Frankie has no real sense of community, and therefore he tries to make one through LLCs. And that's not how human relationships work.
No.
And I'll admit that I have a very hard time understanding how Frankie is wiggling his way into these communities. And I only say that because like I saw him on Fear the Living podcast. And I think the first sentence out of his mouth, my heckles went up. Not to make more dog puns. My heckles went up. I was like, I don't like this guy. I don't trust this man. Something is up. And like, it was because he like said something that was like thinly veiled as like, it was thinly veiled Islamophobic, what he had said. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this man thinks he's so smart that no one's going to clock it. And I am clocking it. And it's gross.
Yeah. Eric Vitale said the same thing. When he showed up, Eric was like, dude, I don't trust him. There's something weird about him. And I've grown to trust Eric's like judge of character. You know, because he's a friend of mine. And someone else, I don't think Seg didn't show any screenshots, but other people I think have shown where Frankie posted on Facebook, this is going to be the year of doxing and this and that and all this shit. And then we see these posts that Beardo showed, that's a crime and you can't do this and you can't do that. He's so contradicting, you know.
Yeah, because Frankie doesn't have morals. Like, he'll say that he does, but he doesn't act on his morals. And if you don't have that backbone to do that and to like stand on principle and 10 toes in, or however you want to metaphor it, then you have nothing. You are going to fall for anything or try to manipulate people into anything. He talks like a politician because he wants you to join his side, and he gets so offended when people go, "Oh, no, something's wrong with you, sir.
Yeah.
Something's not right about this." And like, I'm sitting here and I can't tell. He doesn't realize, like, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt in the way of like, I don't know if he doesn't realize that he's being manipulative. And when people reflect back at him what he's doing with these behaviors, he is just like disgusted with that idea of himself, so he rejects it. Or if he knows that he's being manipulative and rejects it because he doesn't want people calling him out on his game, because he thinks that he is playing 5D chess and we're all playing, hoops and sticks or whatever the old game is. He thinks we're all so stupid.
I think he knows he's trying to be manipulative. I mean, because if you think about it, right, when he came out with that contract or whatever for Haunted Souls for Dan, where he owned like 51% and then Dan was going to own 49.9999% and everything, and he was just trying to finesse his way. He was trying to manipulate. He was trying to manipulate Dan, and he was successful in some of it.
And I think that's due to him being lonely. I think he's very lonely, and he thinks manipulating and being in interpersonal relationships is the only way to hang on to people. And I don't know why he thinks that when he clearly has burned bridges, and this is not a way for people to stay with you. So I don't understand what the logic is behind it. I refuse to understand what the logic is behind it. I will also say, if I'm gonna be fucking sassy, which I am, at one point Dan said that Frankie used the excuse that my testosterone was so low that day. So this may be a medical condition that he faces, and I'm not going to judge him for that. I am going to say, if I ever find out this man has looked at a woman and said, and like dismissed her arguments because she was on her period, I will lose it. I will lose it like a woman on my period.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Dan said that, he has talked badly about a lot of women, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of that, mostly because I never really watched Frankie's stuff. You know what I mean? I never really watched when he did Haunted Souls, when he did and the Haunted Garage stuff. I didn't watch Frankie's stuff, so I don't know how he treated women other than what people are saying.
I don't know either, but a man who's been divorced several times and then wants to critique other people's marriages doesn't seem like a champion of women. I'll just say that. I don't know. I will also say people who literally make up fights to battle, like easy wins. So Frankie does that a lot. He makes up he makes a position that no one has, and it's like an easy win. So the example is, what are people saying that like women can't own property? Because the first thing you're going to go is, oh my God, who would say that? That's awful. I think women should be. This is a made up scenario. And it's an easy win for him. And it looks like he gets some like social points for doing it. But no one has made that argument because he doesn't actually care about women. And he's shown that there was actions of like wanting to destroy a 22-year-old's career that hasn't even started yet in a field that is primarily women, and two, in a field that needs workers currently. So there's that.
What pull could he possibly have with that too?
He has none. He has absolutely none. In the same way that it seems like he wasn't in the military, and yet he's going around trying to do stolen valor for it.
Man,
it's the same thing with he was saying that like, oh, Seg criticizing people is going to make teens want to harm themselves.
Oh God.
It's a made up thing, and it's an easy win because, nobody wants kids to hurt themselves. So it feels like an easy win. It's a made up argument. It's really annoying. And as I said, I think we should call out behaviors. If you are for some reason in a discussion with Frankie and he starts doing this, be smarter and go, that didn't happen. Please give me a real scenario to actually talk about with you. And I was also going to say, I have a new theory. I think, so there's that group on, like Get Unhaunted, which is like a support group, and Frankie left it in a huff. And I know people are like, oh, he can't make content. off us and that's why he's upset. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's because he couldn't make it a business and couldn't find a way to control them in it.
Yeah.
And I don't even need like monetization. I think it's just a form of control. Also, going back, I'm just looking at my notes again, going back to the whole women thing. Personally, in my lifetime, I find men who yell and puff out their chest, especially at women, as a way to intimidate them and deflect from the argument, is when they can no longer engage on an intellectual level with that woman. And I'm not asking Frankie to debate me because I know he'll yell at me, and I don't really want to associate with him. But I know he will yell at me, and I don't do well with being yelled at. I'll admit it. But I do think that people think he is eloquent in his speech, and I think he just talks fast and loud.
Yeah.
That's my take. I think he just talks really fast and loud, and if you take a moment and pause and ask him to repeat himself, he might have a very difficult time.
I don't know. I think that if I saw Frankie yelling at you or Florio or Stevie or Eric or anyone that I know, I'd probably lose my shit and I'd probably say a bunch of stuff that maybe I shouldn't say.
And but that's the other thing. He keeps, once again, it's this easy win argument he does. He keeps bringing up women as a tool to win arguments. You don't have to protect me, bro. As a woman, I don't need your fucking protection. Stop being the one that yells at me. And two, stop being like, oh, how could you talk to women like that? Women are able to speak up for themselves and know how they want to be treated. Stop saying that you are some gallant knight that needs to save me. One, I have a husband. He doesn't have to done this to me, but like, I have a husband. And even if I didn't, I could speak up for myself. Or you know what else I would do? I would turn off the computer. I would go outside. I would talk to my mom. Like I would, and tell her I love her, and we would embrace and hug because we have a good relationship. And I have relationship with other women and other people in my life who are like men, and we have fine relationships, and I go talk to them in person. And maybe, just maybe, I suggest go doing that instead of trying to force your control through an LLC. He
can't, because I don't think he knows how. I think huge problem.
He could learn. I think everyone is able of redemption. I think he could learn. I think it's a shitty, and this is not on you, Dust. I think this is fucking shitty to go and give up on him, because then he just is allowed to keep doing this behavior because, oh, that's Frankie. Oh, that's Frankie. That guy, he'll never learn. No, he fucking can. He's choosing not to.
Yeah. Get him.
And like I said it in my video about the whole thing, like I don't pray for Frankie's downfall. I pray for his awakening. I hope he can figure out. And I say pray in like a manifestation. I'm not Christian or Catholic anymore. I have a weird altar on my grandma's coffee table, like the good millennial girl I am.
Okay. An altar? I mean, I have crosses in my place, but that's mostly for like paranormal stuff. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah.
Not really, like I don't pray to those crosses. Like if I'm going to pray, I'm going to go to church, but whatever.
I also don't knock anyone who goes to church. I should just say, I'm just saying that like, I'm just making the argument of like, don't come at me and be like, oh, you're a Christian, or you were a Christian, or you're the devil now. Yeah, I'm the devil now. Get me. It's an altar server for 10 years. Spritz some holy water on me. I won't burn.
Oh my God. You know what you should do? You should totally clip this part of the live stream and upload it to your channel. Like you should do it. No, you should. You should totally. You have my permission. You should do that. I mean, even you don't really need my permission, but you should.
That's right, because I'm a woman, and according to Frankie, I'm infallible. I am perfect. And if you judge me, you're a misogynist.